Hey, what's up? Just trying to get my chat to multi-stream chat. For some reason, it's just like stuck on a blank screen. Although it shows up on the screen. Weird. Hey, Alex, do you mind sending another message? There we go. Chat's finally loading up. Hey, Alex, how's it going? Thanks for the like. Might help if I unmuted the mic. We got a pretty decent build going tonight. I was actually supposed to stream this on Saturday, but we were unable to do so, unfortunately, so I apologize, Peter, for not getting to this build on Saturday like originally planned. We also had a long wait for this graphics card to show up. I actually have two cards right now, minus this one, that has been, for some reason, just not, they've just been, UPS has just been weird with my cards lately. So I apologize for the delay on the build, and then the additional delay when we wanted to stream it on Saturday. But we're all here. We're building it. We're doing this tonight. It's happening. So tonight we're going to be building with a Ryzen 5 5600X. It's got 6 cores, 12 threads. It's got a max boost of 4.6 gigahertz. It's a great processor, especially if you're just looking to start out and really just looking for a really good gaming experience. It also has the 5000 series, so it's got the PCIe 4 support. So it gives you pretty much everything you'll ever need on your motherboard. Unlocks all of those awesome abilities. Then we're going to be running our DDR4, 16 gigs of 3600 megahertz RAM. These are 2 sticks, so it's a kit. 2 8-gig kits, 2 8-gig sticks, 16 gig set. This is the T-Force Delta addressable RGB. I use this a lot. This brand, this model, I really like them. It's all going to be plugged into our B550 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi motherboard. This is by MSI. It's got the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built into it. This is one of their, I think, newer versions of this board. It actually even says it right here, that it's a 5000 ready board, which means that it's one of the newer versions. But it's got the Gen 4, like we were talking about. If you can see that, Gen 4 PCIe, which is what we want. Actually looking here. Give me a second, I gotta go get the SSD. Yeah, it's a Western Digital M.2. This is the SN770 Gen 4. So we're taking advantage of that generation, 4th generation SSD, or 4th generation PCIe. Really taking advantage of the speeds that you gain while using it. The video card we're using is the MSI Gaming X RTX 3060 Ti. So it's going to blend well, especially with the motherboard, also being an MSI motherboard. We are cooling the CPU today with the ZoomFlow 240X Evo. So it's got some addressable RGB, got the ring on the pump, or the block, 2 RGB fans that we'll be using. And then we are also powering the system with a EVGA 700 watt gold power supply. This one is not modular, but really for this build you don't need it to be modular. We'll have enough room in the bottom of the case to store all those extra cables. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We're probably going to build through this pretty quick. Oh, and the case is Vantex Eclipse E360A, and it is in plastic. So it's a nice case, mid-tower case. I do also have deep cool CF120 fans, which we've used in the past. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to pull the motherboard out of the box and get the CPU, the RAM, and the SSD all installed here. So how's everybody's night going? Hey Peter, hey man, how's it going? Can't wait to see you build it. Well, we're building it right now, man. Forgot to also mention we have some cable extensions here that we'll be using tonight as well. But yeah, we're building it, man. Happening. This time it's for real. I earned that. Alright, so there's our motherboard, and we're gonna drop our CPU in there. I look down a lot, I'm sorry. One of these days I'll eventually redo some of these cameras. I have a streaming PC that I'm going to include. And I might do dual stream or dual PC setup specifically for this, because I'm running into issues where I'm using too many USB channels, and I've noticed if I use too many, there's lag on the cameras. I've never seen that before, but I am using literally like 15 USB 3.0s. I think I have to get another card, maybe an expansion card would solve that as well. But I do have my other PC here that I could use to solve some of these problems as well. So I have options, just haven't gotten to it yet. Alright, so we got our CPU installed here. That is the Ryzen 5 5600X installed in the socket here. Not sure if you can see it or if the camera is going to fix on it. We're going to pop this heat sink off. Our SSD is going to go underneath here. That was weird. Something fell behind me. I don't know what it was. Oh snap. Pete's build. Hell yeah. We're finally building Pete's build. Sorry, Pete. I just wanted to make sure it was live for you at the same time. We had a bunch of unexpected things. Off. SN850, can't see. This is the SN770 by Western Digital Black. Here. It is the SN770. NVMe, PCIe Gen 4, 1 terabyte. This is what it looks like here. I know some of my light is kind of reflecting off of it. I mean, it's better, it's decent speeds for a starter. Yeah, that's supposed to be the read-write speed for the Western Digital Black. 770. So I'm trying to locate M.2 screws in here. I think they're in the manual. Somehow got shoved in the manual, maybe. Here they are. Did not see that model yet. I mean, they're great. Any of the Western Digital Black Gen 4 SSDs, they've been really good. We're also priced very well. So if you're looking for a decent price, you can get a Gen 4 for around $100. I think this one was like $104 plus tax. So you can get a Gen 4 for probably about the same price that you bought a Gen 3 6 months ago. And for those of you who don't see who I'm talking to, DN, hey, hello, by the way. He's over on the Twitch side. So we're streaming to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube right now. So I threw the chat in the bottom left corner of the screen there so you can see it. Yeah, the 850 is good. Definitely much faster. I mean, if I was doing a Ryzen 9 5900X build, I would definitely go as fast as I can on the SSD. But I mean, this isn't that type of build. We had a budget, so we're building within that budget. But we got it to Gen 4 with a B550 and a Ryzen 5 5600X. Solid build, 3600 megahertz RAM. It is CL18. I did want CL16, but it is what it is. where we are. I mean, he's not going to notice much of a performance, if any, between CL16 and CL18 for what he's doing. And that's Pete over on the Facebook stream. But thanks for dropping in. I appreciate you, man. Hang out for a little bit. Hey, TJ, thanks for that like, by the way. Mr. Thomas. Now we're just installing the RAM. Again, if you weren't here when we first started, this is the T-Force Delta by Team Group. And it is addressable RGB on the top here. It is 16 gig set, so there's two 8 gig sticks, and they are CL18 at 3600 megahertz. I just finished a PC build for one of my brothers last weekend. He told me it boots into Windows 11 too fast and asked me if something is wrong. LOL. Yep. And that's the beauty of a M.2 on Gen 4, especially. I mean, any SSD is going to boot Windows within like just a couple of seconds. But even the SATA SSDs, with their limitations, you can. But the Gen 4s are really fast, so it's well worth it. For anybody that is sick of load times on their games, you know, you start up Call of Duty and you're sick of just sitting there waiting for it to load up or launch, or if you're sick of going from the lobby to actually in-game and you're sick of waiting for that to load in, that's your SSD. And it also could be part of your CPU or motherboard combination or RAM combination, but overall that's your SSD that's going to give you that extra performance while loading into those. So if you're running those games or those apps or even your operating system still on a hard drive, definitely consider a solid state drive. Alright, so I got the motherboard all set here. I know I didn't really give us a close-up of it, but we got our CPU installed, we got our SSD installed under this heatsink here, and then we've also got our two sticks of T-Force Delta installed. So we have our RAM, CPU, and SSD on the motherboard. I'm going to set this aside and open up the case. And again, we're building in a Phanteks Eclipse P360A. Yeah, especially with fast boot enabled, etc. Yeah, you could skip right through the BIOS and just go straight in. Michigan, yes sir. Located in Lake Orion, Michigan. So just north of Detroit by 45 minutes to an hour. Hey, Agent Smith, what's up? Thanks for stopping in, man. Hey, Sam. Thanks for that like. I appreciate you. But overall, this case right here, I've really enjoyed building in. The quality of the case is really nice. It's a very solid case. It has a tempered glass side panel for all your viewing pleasures, as well as your front mesh, and it's not super restricting. So there's some cases that'll have mesh with mesh or super crazy mesh, and it's actually restricting the airflow, but this one I really like. It doesn't restrict that airflow, but it does collect a lot of the dust, and it's easy enough to pop this mesh off and clean it when you need to. So this case for maintenance and long-term upgrades down the road, maybe. I've really enjoyed building in this case. This was the Phanteks, or is the Phanteks Eclipse E360A. You want to look that up. It's in black. I think they also have it in white as well. Just going to move these panels out of the way.
I saw them.
Just been hanging out. Oh, that's cool, Agent Smith. Or glass, the front that makes me sad. Yes, I built a few of those, and there's only a couple of good cases that have glass on the front, but have a big enough gap. For example, on the side here, the side of the case here, with gaps or ventilation on the bottom and the top. It is still restricting airflow, but not as bad. There's a couple out there that I really don't like, that I will never build in because it completely chokes off the airflow. But for the most part, most of my builds will be in a mesh, especially for an ATX mid-tower standard like this. We'll have a mesh front. Really the only one that I don't now is the Leon Leo 11 Dynamic. But I mean, there's so much, as long as you have the right fans in there with the pressure, there's so much airflow, doesn't matter. And it's pulling air from the bottom and the side, and you're pushing out the top. Now, Agent Smith, question about the PowerShell. Is it common for it to pop up at random? Only if you have an application that's running a PowerShell command in the background. It's probably pulling up PowerShell, running the command, and then minimizing it. So, probably not normal for that to be popping up. It's probably something specific you have installed. While playing games, no, that's kind of weird. Maybe you might want to check to see if you have something fishy installed that's assisting your gameplay. Just kidding. Yeah, that sounds abnormal. I agree with you, Dion. Definitely sounds like something running in the background that shouldn't be. I'd check if you go to startup or go to the task manager, sorry, and then go to advanced and then check your startup tab, see what's running there, and if anything out of the normal is running in the background, see if you can uninstall that or disable that startup so it's not running. And Empower Gaming Computers, I use the Fractal Design Torrent. Yep, it's a good case with Noctua and HD 15s. Those are good. After a shower, I can stand behind my PC, no towel needed. I mean, yeah, if you ramp those fans up to full speed, you'll get a blow dry. Yep. You could probably dry your car as well if you needed to. I do now, since it started, I got Norton 360 and it still does it, even deleted PowerShell. Well, if you need to do a remote session, Agent Smith, we could probably jump on a remote session and take a look at it. Not right now, but after the stream or tomorrow, just let me know. But not during gameplay. Yeah, I agree. I would start to look at the apps in the taskbar, start turning them off one by one, and you might even need to look at msconfig. Yes, yeah. So I would look at the startup, see if there's anything weird there. Also look at Task Manager, see if there's anything weird running in there. If you have some experience in Task Manager, or have been, using computers for a while, and you know the normal applications on your computer that should be running, then you should be able to identify something that is abnormal running in the background, and maybe that'll help. But I could do a remote session with you if you don't, feel comfortable going through that, and I can help peek through it and see if we can find anything running in the background that shouldn't be. But that is not normal, though. Yeah, when you have some free time, I would appreciate that. I just uninstalled Bacchus mod, which is for Rocket League. Okay. So maybe that has something to do with that? Maybe like a weird installer? I don't know. I've never installed that mod, nor have I actually ever played Rocket League. I'm sad to admit. I've mostly, as everybody probably already knows, mostly play Call of Duty or PUBG. So I'm not familiar with it, that's all. But that's not a problem, we can read. Okay, so we got the case out. We're gonna get the motherboard installed, but we do need our screws, which is located in the hard drive bay. We do have to pop our front panel off. Again, really easy to pop off. And we have our screws here in the box in the hard drive bay, which is pulled out towards the front. One of the other unique things about this case, I wrote PowerShell scripts among other things, so no reason for them to be, yeah, they shouldn't be firing off randomly. No, I agree. Yeah, my Call of Duty wouldn't load for a long time, then had over 100 gigabyte. So maybe it's just taking up space, or I don't know, I don't understand that.
What? I was like,
Download. Games today are huge, I know, they're just too big. Like 1 terabyte now is my minimum for any build. Like the SSD, it's only 1 terabyte. That is my minimum. Anything bigger, I try to push for, like 2 terabytes. Because it sucks, you install like 2 or 3 games and it's full. Now, for those of us who haven't built before and they want to know, just make sure your studs are all here for the motherboard, which will match your holes on the board. Just make sure they're all in there, because there's different specifications for micro ATX, different size boards. But this one comes with all of them in there, right where we need them for the ATX board. Sorry, I started thinking about something else while typing. Oh, it's okay. And then we're just going to screw in all 9 of these screws. How's everybody else's night going? Dan, you build a lot? Yep, it sounds like you build a few. For sure, besides the SSD speeds tend to hit their peak starting at anything over 1 terabyte, over 500 gig. Yeah. Well, I still prefer to do 1 terabytes, and I have done a few builds with 2 terabytes and also a few with 4 terabyte SSDs. And those actually perform pretty well, so I've grown to trust them. Now, the life of them, I don't know. It hasn't been long enough for me to say they lasted or not. But they're all under warranty here, so if there is a problem, we can replace it. I've been building PCs since the mid-'80s, but my job is a software developer for robotics, so that's cool. So do you do anything with as a hobby, like with BattleBots or anything? Just it's like the something that always interests me, BattleBots. What's a good AIO to go with? I just want to get rid of this custom water loop I have. So it's only cooling the CPU, right, Agent Smith? No, but I will take over the world one day. So it's best to be my friend, in my opinion. Just kidding. Well, I'm not trying to take over the world. I'm just trying to empower people with one gaming PC at a time. So to speak. That's my goal. So yeah, it is just a CPU. Then I don't know. What's the biggest radiator your case can hold? And what CPU is it again? Sorry, it's been a while. Can't go wrong with Corsair. You can't go wrong with Corsair. The downside to Corsair is that you have to utilize, number one, the USB 2.0 port on your board, and if your board only has one, which a lot of boards do now, only have one, then you're kind of using it out, which is fine, because who wants to use USB 2.0 on the front panel anyway? i9-900K, I would go with definitely a 360 millimeter, if you could fit a 360. Deepcool is one that I'm pretty in love with, and they don't utilize the USB port and use ridiculous software. Thinking about upgrading my motherboard and case, although I will say Corsair software has been much better the last year than it has been the iCUE software. So it's been getting better. I had to do a Corsair build by request not too long ago, and it ended up being not so bad. I thought it was going to be worse. But here we are. We're okay. We survived. Now, I think in this situation, we are going to do a push-pull with the radiator mounted front as far up as we can because of the clearance. Downside of this case is the clearance here is not going to be good enough. It's not. It's a maybe. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can fit it on the top because I'd like to put the radiator on the top, preferably. Let's see if it'll fit. We're using a 240 millimeter AIO on this one.
Angie?
Yeah, they're coming around slowly but surely. They're finally getting it right. Agent Smith, what would be a good case and motherboard to go with that isn't very
Nice try.
expensive? Hey Toby, how's it going, man? Hey Josh, thanks for that like. I appreciate it, man. Adam, thanks for that like. Going back to Agent Smith's question about an inexpensive case and motherboard. So, I'd say inexpensive case that I've grown to like is, go with the Leon Lee. They're not too expensive. Hey Matt, how's it going, man? Yo, just letting you know, My PC is doing great. Awesome. Thanks for stopping in and sharing. It's good to hear, man. I'd go with the Lian Li. Probably, if you're just doing a 360 millimeter AIO, you could probably do a mesh or land cooled mesh, which has a front mesh, has 2 glass doors on both sides. I think it's like $120 or $130 case. Big enough so that if you need to put a big card in there, you can put a big card in there. Fit, you know, a 360 millimeter AIO for sure. That's the case I'd probably go with. Then a motherboard for the 900 or the 9000 series or the 9th generation Intel i9 909 or 9900K would be probably, I'd go with a Z390, probably an MSI. They're probably going to get hard to find now. So honestly, you may be better off just upgrading the processor while you're at it. Sell the i9 and your motherboard as a bundle, and then take that and buy a newer i9. I don't know. It'll get you to Gen 4 too if you go with like 11th generation i9 on a Z590. You have the 900K, 9th generation, right? You have the Z390 already? Yeah, I'd go with the CPU upgrade, honestly. The 9th generation is starting to show its age. If you're going to do an upgrade, really benefit from that, I would upgrade the CPU and the motherboard. And then just sell your current i9 and the Z390 that you have. It's just more bang for the buck when you
Such a waste of
upgrade. If you're looking for an upgrade, that's the upgrade that you probably want to do. I don't normally breeze while I'm on here, but now y'all know. Habits. So I'm thinking of doing the radiator on the top. Problem is with this pump, the pump is on the radiator here, so we are not going to top mount this bad boy for sure. We are definitely going to mount it on the front like so, and wrap it like that depending on the length of the card. I want to look at that. So we're going to pop these fans that are currently in here out. And we're going to mount those to the front, and then we'll have push-pull with the radiator mounted front. The pump all the way at the bottom of the loop. And then that's the direction we're going to go. That is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I don't think that one needs to come off. Just do these ones. Yeah, you have the... Okay, I just finished making supper. I must go, LOL. Take care, everyone. Be safe. Hey, Dion, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you, man. And have enjoy your supper. If you ever want to hang out, you know, follow me. And want to go live, come on in, hang out. We do these build streams as often as I can. Right now it's about once a week. So about once a week we're building and streaming. streaming the build. So feel free to stop in anytime, man. We work with lots of different hardware. But yeah, I think Agent Smith, if we get up to at least 11th generation i9, so an i9 11900K or KF, that would be the upgrade, and also a Z590 motherboard. And really, like I said, that Lian Li LANCool 2 mesh case is the bomb. That's what I would roll with. So I'm taking these fans out of the case because they are actually really good fans. They're PWM addressable RGB fans, but we're going to put them on the front of the case, mounted directly to the radiator. This way they're push-pull. And then you get the RGB lighting both on the front and the inside of the computer. If we didn't do that, the front would either be black with no RGB, and the inside would have the fans with the RGB, because it won't show through the radiator very well. Or we could put them on the front and push the air through the radiator, but the RGB is only going to be on the front and no RGB on the inside. So really, the right way to do it for this setup is to mount the radiator front, put fans on both the front and the back side, and then you have push-pull on the radiator. Sorry, you have to look at my hairy arm. We hung up on. All right. Here we are. Got that. The next, we're gonna lay this back down. And then we're going to get everything ready here, so that way we can we're going to put the fans on this radiator on the inside, then we'll mount it, put the fans on, and put the screws through the case, and that's how we're going to mount it to the case. So if this was in the case, these cables would go this way, and the fans actually need to be flipped around. Got to pay attention to which way you're placing these fans, because we want the airflow obviously pulling the air in, and that is this direction here. You have the Z390i, okay. Then it's likely, yeah, just that upgrade, man. It's just going to be the CPU at that point. Don't even bother with upgrading that motherboard. There's no reason to. There's no performance gains out of it at this point. I think if you, I think at this point, if you just wait or just go to the 11th generation i9 or 12th generation i9, depending on which one you go with, 12th or 11th. You'd get a Z590 with the 11th generation or a Z690 with the 12th generation. Just when you're getting the 12th generation, make sure you're getting a DDR4 motherboard unless you're planning to upgrade it to DDR5 RAM. That's the only thing to look out for there. But overall, yeah, that's probably your benefit, is just upgrading the CPU and then upgrading the motherboard as well. Yeah.
Why did I back up? Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, this board only expects or accepts 8th or 9th gen. Correct. The 300 is only for technically the 9th generation, though I think it was compatible with the 8th generation as well. And that actually, the 8th generation wasn't very common, meaning it didn't last very long. So whenever you talk to techs, it goes from like 7th generation, and then 8th generation basically you skip, and then you went 9th. It's just how it worked out. It was rare. The 8th generation was just a rare processor. It wasn't great. It wasn't that big of a leap. The 9th generation was the leap. So going from 7th to 9th was a bigger leap. Much better leap, at least, and it made more sense. I'm going to try to get these cables started here, feeding them to the back. And we just need the pump. Ran down here. There we go. Easy lemon squeezy. Okay, I remember. I actually just did one of these cases not too long ago, and how I did it was exactly what I'm doing right now. It doesn't, I guess it's my complaint next on this case, is it doesn't quite line up these holes very well. Which is okay. I mean, you can probably see what I'm doing right now. It's going to be a little bit of hillbilliness right now. Or jerry rigged in a way. Slightly. So we're getting our push-pull set up with the front radiator mount. I don't have these screwed in all the way here. I actually need a couple more screws.
What the?
Let me see if I can get one more here, because these holes don't exactly line up very well. I didn't think so. That's not going to work.
Wait.
But that's where we are. Okay, so we've got a radiator mounted. We've got our pump on the bottom where we want it, on the bottom of the loop there. And now we have our block, which is copper. Beautiful piece of copper there, which is going to go on the CPU here. We just need to get the mounting pieces set. And we also have to get our thermal paste applied. So it is going to mount like so. But we need our pieces here. I think we're using those. We're going to probably use this back plate on the back of the motherboard, so I'm only going to take one of these off at a time and then add those so they don't fall off on me. The studs that they give me. But we're going to keep that metal back plate. So these are the studs that they give me that we're going to screw into the back plate here. We're going to do two here. And then we're going to undo the last plastic and two screws here. This way it doesn't fall and become a pain in the butt. I don't have to shove my hand down there and try to hold a plate while I'm trying to screw things in.
Where did this come from?
Although I'll probably have to do that because it looks like it just slightly dropped. No big deal. Easy to line back up when you already have two in there. Alright, we're ready for our thermal paste, which we are using the good old Thermal Grizzly. Trusty Thermal Grizzly.
Jimmy, go. Yes, you.
And then we have these little nuts that we're going to be screwing into those studs. And that will secure this block onto the CPU very nicely.
Oh my God. fine.
And then we're just going to tighten these up.
Ow.
And there we go. We're mounted. So we've got radiator mounted, our motherboard mounted. That's really the next thing is to get these fans in here. Got 3 fans to mount, 2 on the top, 1 in the rear.
Back.
I lost the fans. Got them. So we're using the Deep Cool CF120s.
Hold on, I'm gonna go.
Our fully modular power supply is good. So the only benefit to fully modular power supplies, Agent Smith, is the cables you can remove, or cables, well, they don't come attached to the power supply. Just add the power supply cables that you need for your build, and then that reduces the amount of cables in your build. So you don't have extra cables not being used sitting inside your build. That's really the only benefit. Is there a performance difference between that? No, there isn't. Is it a marketing thing for power supply companies? Yes, it is. Is your power supply modular? Actually, doesn't make a difference. Other than if you want less cables in the back of your build, go modular. Twisty ties. I love twisty ties. Twisty ties. More twisty ties. That's one thing I would wish Deepcool would stop doing. Stop using so many twisty ties. Please. It's like one of the main reasons why I will buy those modular fans or daisy chain fans, because they don't have twist ties. I don't have to undo twist ties. When you build a lot of computers, you deal with a lot of twist ties. A lot of them. Literally everything you undo has a twist tie. I've talked about these before. They get old quick. Do 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 do.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna stand this bad boy up to do these top fans here. We're just gonna be running the cables and then mounting it to the top of the case. 4 screws. These are gonna be set to exhaust, so it's pushing the air out of the case from the top. Heat rises. There's some cases that you don't really want to put a fan here on the top. In this case, because we're drawing the heat from the radiator directly into the computer, I want that air to be expelled quickly. So that is why we are doing this. I don't want it floating around the case and then coming back around and warming things up like the graphics card. I want that air to be moved out of the case as quickly as we can.
Wala.
I just straight up missing the hole. I don't know if I like these screws. I think we're going to use a different set of screws for these because they're not fitting very well. The last thing I want is a screw popping out on one of my builds. Hey man, I bought a computer from you, man. And the screw popped out on me. Not today. Sorry, I made a really dorky voice. That was my impression of a Karen customer. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Most of my customers that I've worked with here at Empower, some of the best people I've met, and I just love the fact that I just keep meeting great people through this business. It's awesome. One of the cool perks. I don't think I've ran into a single Karen except for somebody that complains about a price. And that's usually a sign of they're not buying from you anyway. And then you'll get those builders that know everything, which is fine. The problem is when they come in here and start saying, hey, you're charging too much, because they want me to just charge for only the parts. If you charge for only the parts, then it's at that point not a business, it's a charity. I'm not a charity, I'm a business. And then there's some people that have very hard time understanding that, which is funny sometimes. Whoa. Geek world, man. Brian was here, he would understand exactly what I'm talking about. But I think my prices are very fair. And you actually get to watch your PC being built from the comfort of your couch. Or if you're eating dinner, you could go watch it at the dinner table. I mean, that's pretty cool. If you want a build guide for your own PC, it's right here. All right, we've got two of the fans mounted on the top, which is what we wanted here. Now we're just going to make sure the cables go where they're supposed to. And then fight with it some more. Okay, now, we're gonna get this rear fan installed. So if we flip this up, you'll see down here, we're gonna be putting a fan there that is also going to be set for exhaust. We're exhausting all 3 of our newly added fans, which is significantly going to help the airflow. Now, before I add this fan, there's one thing I'd like to do before I mount it. Save me some trouble later. You don't have to hear me curse on screen. I try not to. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're putting on our cable extension right now, so we don't have to deal with it later when there's a fan in the way, or more in the way. There we go. Now that that is done and out of the way, we'll have we'll enjoy building this PC much more now. Although, I really don't like how this is doing that. Crap. I gotta move these. Drive me nuts. I don't like that. Don't worry, I'm fixing it. It's okay. Nobody panic. There we go. Much better. All right. So, one of the last few things we got to do is get all the fans plugged into the motherboard, the front panel plugged into the motherboard, USB, whatnot. All of that needs to get plugged into the motherboard pump as well. And then we can switch over to the power supply, video card, get that all plugged in. But we need to get this pump, fans, all that good stuff done. Fan, pump. Pump is right here in a very unique tight position, of course. Right here, that bottom part. That's why when you build a lot of computers, you learn to get a bunch of weird tools. This one's surgical pliers. I thank my uncle for this. Still use them to this day, but I got these back when I was like 15 or 14 for computer building. So I always had just big hands. Really tough to get into tight places like that. And that helps a lot. All right. Next, I think I'm gonna run this for the CPU because there's 4 of them on this hub, which is perfect, what we need. And once again, this is going to be a tight fit with the hands. And I'm not going to be able to do it barehanded. Would help with a little bit of light. There we go. Nice. All right, so last thing we need up here is an addressable RGB cable. Where's that? Where'd that go? Here it is. Actually, we're going to use this one at the bottom. Top one is going to be using a different one. Bottom. No. What's that? Where did it go? Yeah, there should be one part that should be here, and I am not seeing it. What happened? So there should be an RGB cable that came with those fans. I'm not seeing them. I don't know what happened here. Pick it up. Found it. Okay. Nobody panic. This one I'm going to use for the top addressable RGB connection. Yes. And to be honest with you, I don't want to admit where it was because it was directly right in front of me, still in the box. Sad. Kinda sad. There we go. We got that one. Now we got the bottom portion of the motherboard to get all plugged in, and the side, which is going to be a couple of items here. getting a little bit crazy. Cables. We've got our USB 3.0, which should be plugged in at the bottom. And if you have USB-C for this motherboard, that goes in the top, or the side towards the top. Go. One's that. HD audio. I'm gonna just pull this one through. We'll do it here in a second. Okay. Our power switch. Pull that one through. And yeah, that's it. Power switch goes to JFP1. That's usually your jumper front panel 1 for your front panel. Obviously, your power buttons, your reset buttons, or anything like that. That's normally where it would go. Most motherboards are the same.
Yippee!
And the fans, case fans. I'm going to utilize this one here. You know what, let's see if we can use a different one. Yeah. Want more than those ones? Use these. Different cable. Same thing. Just a daisy chain for PWM fans. That's all it is. And actually, I should run this from the top to hit system fan 1 up here. Once again, through the top. That way all the cables are nicely tucked away. Nice and neat. I mean, look at that. Looks clean. All the cables are kind of out of the way. Don't worry, we'll tidy this up a little bit, obviously. Yeah, we're kind of ready to... I forgot. One last RGB connection for the top fans. Then we're ready for the graphics card and the power supply extensions and the power supply itself. Then we fire it up. And, well, plug the fans all in the back, then fire it up. RTX 3060 Ti. Beautiful card by MSI. It's the Gaming X. A lot of people say... I think UVGA and MSI Gaming X and UVGA's For the Win 3 are pretty close performance when it comes to cooling. They're pretty close. I like both of them. Yeah. See what this bad boy looks like. Oh my gosh, it's a box inside a box. Got a nice envelope with a bunch of prize stickers and propaganda from MSI. That'll be sent with it. And then our actual graphics card. The actual graphics card here. This is the MSI GeForce RTX 3060 Ti Gaming X. 8 gigabytes GDDR6. Has addressable RGB on it, so it's going to look fancy inside here. It's going to mesh well with the already MSI motherboard inside the system. Overall, very stylish, as well as delivering some uber frames for the cost. Two back screws that we're going to be removing here, specifically for you, information for you, sir, Peter, is that the video card will arrive uninstalled. We will uninstall the card to ship it. Obviously, we're going to install it now while we're building it and assembling and prepping it. But you will have to do this process right here at 1 hour and 24 minutes in the stream or the video, which you can go back and reference. Is you're going to unpackage this card. You're going to locate this top slot here, the silver one, just under this heatsink right here that says Lightning Gen 4. You're going to line up these pins, gold pins, with that slot down here. Alright, the two screws on the back here, and here, will have to come out. You'll see how those come out. It's just simple with a Phillips screwdriver. And then we're just going to slide the card into the slot gently. You just line it up before you slide it in. Once you know it's ready to slide in, you'll just push down right here on the top of the card where the board is and the metal back plate. Just push down a little bit until you hear it click in. You don't have to put a lot of pressure there. It's gonna slot in very nicely and smoothly, so you won't have to push hard. If you're pushing hard, there's something wrong. So, and then you just take the two screws and screw the two screws in here and here, and then you'll plug in your two power cords, one here and one here. They only go in one way, and you're good to go. That's all you need to do. I just like to really highlight this because I can reference it later when you receive the computer. I don't know why this is not lining up perfectly. Normally this is easy to install. There we go. Wanted to make sure it stayed slotted, which it is. And now our RTX 3060 Ti is installed. Awesome. Big part of the problem was this plate was interfering with the card itself because of how big the card was. So we'll see if we can put this back on. That was part of the problem. Which you can remove that as well. There's 2 thumb screws here that'll remove it when you go to put it in. Alright, so there we have it. Got an RTX 3060 Ti installed. Got pretty much everything going here except for a power supply and getting the fans plugged in. Let's go ahead and deal with that right now, actually. Then we'll get the flip it over, power supply in, fire it up, see what she looks like. Actually, that might need to go on the outside. Nope. Yep.
I can't press it either.
So if you're trying to stay color coordinated, black and gray on the left, the red, gray, and black on the right. And I'll zip tie this guy somewhere. Trying to be a little bit of a perfectionist, I'm sorry. Beautiful. Now we're going to flip this bad boy right over. Stand her up for a minute, get that power supply installed, and then we plug everything in, fire it up. Almost there. Here's our EVGA 700 watt gold. Non-modular. But it's a great power supply for the price, delivering really nice performance overall. Stays cool, gets the job done. Trusted name brand. Really can't go wrong with this power supply.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Alright, power supply mounted. Play this bad boy down and get these cables plugged in. Enough to give a man an anxiety attack. So if that is something that happens to you, please do not look at the mess of wires that we have doing here. Refrain from looking at the wires. This was that PWM daisy chain connection for the fans, case fans that we're going to be using. That's the top fans for the exhaust. One fan we have built in, plugged in on the rear. Then gonna have to figure this one out. There's a lot going on up here. We got addressable RGB connections for each fan. We got two different types of addressable RGBs. One being for the FanX case, the other being for the ID cooling fans and the pump. So we need to determine those, where those go again. Yeah, there's a lot going on up here. I think we're gonna need actually another one of these. No, we may not. We might not. Okay. So, first things first. This dude needs to go down that way. This dude plugs in. So now we need to locate the two fans. Okay. I understand what's going on. Now, where's my fans? My fan hub. Could be this. Right here. This guy is going to control all four of the fans on the radiator. Hey, Will Anthony. Thanks for stopping in, sir. How's it going there, Ben? It's going pretty good right here. We're just getting things plugged in and sorted here. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention too much there, but just trying to get things sorted right here because there's a lot going on. If you haven't noticed, a lot going on with these fans. So I'm just trying to stay focused here real quick while I get these plugged in. And this goes to this. Aha. And this is ready to be bundled up. Wire bundle. Wire harness, whatever you want to call this. Let's see here. Now let's tackle the PWM fan connections. For these going into this hub. There we go. We got all four fans plugged in. Now we have the addressable RGB connections to deal with, which there are a total of 4. And we have 4 on this daisy chain that we're going to run down here, kind of keep cleaned up. And then the last one is going to be from the case back to our RGB. It'll sync our software, sync our addressable RGB that's built into the case, which there's an RGB strip at the bottom of the glass, bottom of the tempered glass side panel. There we go. And then we just gotta Zip tie these, plug our power cables in. First ones I want to do are these graphics cards. I want to get these out of the way before they start getting buried by these other cables. All good. I'm gaming at the moment myself. Nice. I wish I was gaming right now. Probably would be playing PUBG if I had time. Seems to be my go-to. Right now, anyway. Good old PUBG. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Alright, one more GPU. There we go. And we're going to just tuck these all in here. Out of the way. And this 24 pin, we're also going to just start tucking away here. We're not going to be using the full 20, whatever footage this thing is. We're going to try to use it as least as possible, but we're going to zip tie this guy last. Then we just need one SATA connection to power the RGB for the case. It does have its own external connection SATA, which we'll be using one of these bad boys. Perfect. Now we're going to clean this up a little bit and then we'll fire it up. How about that? So Will, what games are you playing tonight? Vanguard currently. Nice. I haven't been playing lately. Vanguard. I just been getting. I got so frustrated when they nerfed that sniper. Because that's literally all I do is snipe. I mean, I'll go on Resurgence with a sniper only. Kind of got annoyed by that. So I was using the Swiss and the Kar 98. And they got nerfed big time. Or at least they feel like they got super nerfed. Something happened, and now my snipers don't work. It's very frustrating. Like, nerfing a fully automatic gun that can snipe you across the map with 2 shots, I can understand something like that, but a sniper that's actually meant to, like, knock somebody with 1 shot? You're gonna nerf that? Okay. Oh yeah, they got nerfed back. Yeah. So now I play PUBG again. Right now. Because I can't snipe Call of Duty. That's literally the only thing I enjoy doing in that game. Look at clean. Ah, come on. And I'm just gonna get one. Uh-oh. Don't want that off. Put that on. We'll cover for another extension on the RGB if we ever needed it. There we go. All cleaned up. We're ready to plug this bad boy in and fire it up. Let me just verify none of these connections came undone here. Good. So let's plug this bad boy in. I think this bulge of wire is too tall. There we go. Might have to readjust a couple things here, but forget it. Nice and clean, nice and clean. Stayed on. Stayed nice. Yeah. Looks good to me. Plug her in and fire it up. Ellie? Getting it plugged in here for you. And we'll fire her up. See what she looks like, the end results. Future post. Let me get rid of some of this light. It might be a little bit too bright. Eric Jones. Oh, that's 2 fingers. LOL. That must be on purpose. Got a finger poking through, Ben. What? Finger poking through. Sorry, Eric Jones. Can you I don't know when that was. Hey, Empower Gaming Computers just liked our own video. Love you, TJ. Your gloves. Oh yeah, no, that's not on purpose. No, that happened during the build here. But I was already past the point of really touching any of the parts, so there's really no fingerprints that I was going to leave. I just didn't want to deal with it. There we go. We're going to fire it up. I didn't put the glass on because I think there's going to be a glare. I don't know, maybe that's too dark. But we have an addressable RGB light here. We got some RGB on the card. I don't know if you can see it because of the light. There's actually some RGB on the bottom of the card too, which kind of gives it a good accent. But then we have the two fans here that are addressable RGB, as well as the two fans on the front, addressable RGB. And then three for exhaust, addressable RGB RAM, addressable RGB block on the CPU there. I was just playing. Yeah, I know. This happens like every build, eventually. That build is beautiful. Yep. We actually just sent one out for very close to the same build here. For Judge Drudge. He's one of our partners that we are currently working with. But we just did a build for his community because he did a PC giveaway, and that just left. So similar to this build, but I think we had a little bit more performance in that one.
Did you see that?
But overall, I mean, this build turned out really nice. I'm really happy with it. Peter, if you're still watching, unless you fell asleep watching me build it, you are here. It is ready for your viewing pleasures. And then the next steps for this one is we do have to install Windows 10. We have to go through the driver installations, and then we're going to do a little bit of tweaking, BIOS update as well, and tweaking after that. And then the battle tested phase, which we put each system through to verify its performance is performing where it should be, and its cooling is also performing where it should be, so that it performs. So all of that's benchmarked, tested, verified before we package it up and ship it out. So within the next 2 days, we should have this shipped for you, Peter. And then if you do have any questions until then, feel free to reach out. But I would expect UPS tracking information here in the middle of the week, and it should be on its way for you. Outside of that, we're completed here. This build is done. I do have another build sometime this week. It's a white Leon Lee build. It's a very nice build actually, as well. But it's white, and it's in a 011 Dynamic Evo, or 011 Dynamic. It's just the dynamic case. So it's pretty build in white. So that'll be coming up later this week. If you guys want to follow, turn on those notifications, and you'll be notified when I go live. Any questions, Peter, if you're still hanging out? You want me to flip it over and let you look at anything else specific on here? That's the front that you're looking at there. And this is the tower with you looking at it on its side if it was standing up. Right now it's laying down on the table. Standing up, though, you can see the addressable RGB through the top. And this will have a tempered glass side panel. Yeah, it's all set. So, I'm all set, guys. Have a good rest of your night. Let me know if you know anybody that needs a build, that's looking for upgrades or help with their PC, anything. You know where to send them. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Happy Monday.